I legitimately cannot actually believe that the AFL season is back already. I feel like this has been the fastest off season personally for me. I don't know if that's because I got to, make so many YouTube videos for you guys to, of course, watch. And there was a ton to talk about with the draft and the trade period this year, as well as my own personal team having a massive draft and one of the biggest drafts we've personally ever seen. I don't know if those were all the reasons on why this thing, of course, went super quick, but basically we're back and we're here to talk about the 2025 AFL season. So I thought it'd be actually fun to kind of go over opening round with you guys and give you guys my tips and predictions on who I think will win, of course, these games. Now, again, if you do happen to disagree with me, please don't go in the comment section down below and threaten my whole entire family tree. Again, I'm probably not going to get all of these right. It's just my personal opinion on who I think will win these games. And yeah, I think it will be interesting. I guess if these videos continue to do well, I'll probably make these videos hopefully throughout the season for you guys and try and get them out as quick as possible, because I know a lot of you guys who are watching these videos, love to get other people's thoughts and opinions to try and make their own educated guess. So, what better opinion to get than a chubby fat kid who's wearing a Dustin Poirier shirt's opinion, and, of course, kind of go based off that. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. It's good to have you guys here now for the 2025 AFL season. But I guess we'll start with the first game we do have here, which doesn't happen, what am I yapping about? Which does happen to be the Brisbane Lions versus Geelong Cats game at the Gabba. And I know the Brisbane Lions are the reigning premiers. I know they were absolutely insane in that whole final series, and I do know they recently just beat Geelong at pretty much near home. Of course, the MCG, not quite Geelong's home, but they're home for finals, beat them in what happens to be one of the best football games I have ever seen. What a preliminary final that, of course, happened to be. Again, I know all of that did happen, but I am actually going with the Geelong Cats to beat Brisbane in a little bit of an upset up at the Gabba right now. Again, I know bold, but Geelong actually did beat Brisbane there last time, and I know that Brisbane had a really, really bad scoring game. I think they kicked 4 goals and had 13 behinds, which, again, throughout a lot of the last season, I think a lot of people forget that Brisbane were like one of the most inaccurate sides that we had seen in a hot minute. And I also believe that this team is going to take some time to adjust to not having Joe Danaher there. Again, he was a great player and one of their best players in the finals. Not having him up forward now is going to be a little bit of an adjustment. They're also going to go, I think, a tiny bit younger, having guys like Levi Ashcroft playing round 1, I would assume. And I just don't know. I think Geelong are going to genuinely upset them here, and I'm excited to see what Bailey Smith is going to do in the new colours with Geelong. I also feel like Geelong now are going to, now that they don't have Tom Hawkins in that forward line, they've really got used to having this new setup down forward. I think we're going to really see that explode throughout this year, and I have them winning. I don't know really too much why, but I do think there'll be a little bit of an upset here, and Geelong will catch Brisbane at the Gabba. Again, the next one we do have is Sydney versus Hawthorn. God, I thought Sydney looked good this pre-season. I know you can't always look in the pre-season, but with them having the new I nearly said new Cox. Technically, yeah, they do have a new Cox. They do have the new coach in Cox. I thought, geez, how's that going to go? Especially with Longmire gone, and it really doesn't look like it's missed a step. And this is at the SCG. We've got Hawthorn now, who looked interesting over the pre-season. They have a really tall backline now with Tom Barrass and Josh Battle. So they're going to have to navigate that now, playing with Sam Frost. Sicily was down there. Scrimshaw is still there as well. Again, a really, really tall backline. Again, we saw in the practice game that by the end of it, I think Josh Battle and James Sicily were both pushed down forward because it was just too tall. So I wonder if they are going to drop one of those guys. It would either have to be Frosty or Scrimshaw, which would be a tough thing to do because, God, they're all such good players. It's just like, can they all coexist together? Even Weddle down there is like massively tall. They just have a really tall backline at the moment. So, yeah, how that's going to go, I'm not sure. I think they'll be taking some time to figure that out. Again, I do have Sydney actually winning this game in opening round. I think Sydney, they're actually going to shock me, who I thought might drop a little bit down to like 7th this year. I think they're probably still going to be a near top 4 side or a top 4 side. So, yeah, I do have them winning that. We also have Gold Coast versus Essendon, and I don't really have much to talk about here. I think Gold Coast should get the win quite comfortably. As you guys know, I'm a big believer in this Gold Coast team. I'm a big believer in Damien Hardwick, and I think that Gold Coast team was already close to making the 8 last year. I just think they couldn't win away from home. But now that you add Daniel Rioli and John Noble, Leo Lombard will come into the team eventually when he gets off this injury. They also have the most depth they have by far ever had in their AFL time. And again, all of these younger players are now a year older. I think this is the time they have to make the 8. And I think they got to start off here and get a win, and a comfortable and convincing win against a team in the Essendon Football Club who, for the most part, a lot of people think are probably going to be sliding down a little bit this year. And some people, again, have had them bottom 4. I'm not too sure if they will get to bottom 4, but I don't know, like, if Essendon will be... I don't think they're going to get better this year. I think they can only go down to go up eventually. And I think Brad Scott knows that. And they've given Brad Scott the license to play a lot of the younger guys like Caddy full-time, Perkins full-time, Sardis full-time, Keiko full-time, potentially Ben Hobbs full-time. I just personally think that Essendon will probably be on the down this year, while Gold Coast will dramatically be on the up. And that's not a bad thing for Essendon, because I think they actually do need to do that. And they have a very underrated young core there that just needs to play. So I think Gold Coast should get this win quite comfortably, especially considering Daniel Rioli looked like a freak for them in preseason already. Noble looks like a good addition. They've got the depth there. They've got the system there. They've got the structure, the coaching, all of the above. It shouldn't really be that much of a conversation. I think Gold Coast should get this win. And if they don't, eyebrows would be raised, in my opinion. But yeah, next one you have is GWS versus Collingwood. I think this is probably the hardest one to tip. Personally, I think if Dan Houston was playing this game, it would 100% be a upset. Collingwood would get the win here. I think Collingwood actually looked really solid. Again, they did play a training, Cones team in Richmond, who I can basically give them that nickname because I am a Richmond fan, and God, there were some interesting signs by the Tigers, I tell you that. But obviously, Collingwood completely destroyed them. They did look like they had some of their system back from 2023, and I don't think that was just because Richmond completely sucked. I think they legitimately had something really good there, and even guys like Tim Membry proved me wrong. Perryman was actually a really solid addition in the midfield. Houston looked good off halfback. I think even without Dan Houston, I think I'm going to go for the upset here. I think Collingwood could actually upset GWS, and I know a lot of people are really high on GWS. I'm not as high on them this season, but I still think they could do something pretty special and make the 8. I just think that Collingwood maybe get the upset here, and I think that would be quite shocking to some, but I think this could be a game and a round where there are 2 upsets, where the Victorian teams come up to New South Wales and Queensland and actually do pretty well, and I legitimately think that's what Collingwood and Geelong are going to potentially strive to do. So those are probably my tips and predictions. I think it's going to be interesting. I almost kind of want to keep a tally for you guys on what I get right and what I don't. So if one of you want to comment in the comment section down below, once these games are all done, be like, this is what you got right, this is what you didn't. I'll save the comment, I'll remember it, I'll tally it up, and I'll figure it out by the end of the season if I had a success rate on tips or a non-success rate. So I think usually in most years I had a success rate. I think last year, I don't even know what I had though. It might have not been a success rate. So we'll have to definitely wait and see. Those are my tips though for the opening round. Again, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Your tips and predictions Again, I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to the channel though, if you haven't already, for all latest sports content and news. Of course, as well, don't forget to comment your thoughts and opinions on the latest AFL news, the latest tips and predictions and whatnot. I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/live channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.